Okay, we're recording.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our presentation about financial aid. My name is Tori Young. I'm a freshman admissions counselor here at LaRoche, and with me today is my coworker, Erin Kennedy. She's an admissions counselor in our transfer office, and today we hope to give you some information about the financial aid process. So what is financial aid? Financial aid is money used to assist students and their families in paying for college. You can get financial aid from several sources. You can get it from the federal government, your state government. You can get it from the institutions that you're applying to. And there's also private aid that's available.
There are many different types of aid. We like to break it into two categories. The first category is gift aid. These contain grants and scholarships. Both of these types of aid you do not have to pay back. The second category is self-help aid. So you have loans and work study. Loans are things you will have to pay back with interest depending on what type of loan it is. This can come from either the government or from private industries. And the second is work study. Work study is an opportunity for you to have an on-campus job, and you are paid an hourly rate for how many hours you work.
So how can you apply for financial aid? The main source of aid that you can get is from the federal government, and you get that by applying for the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. It is a free application, so you don't have to worry about paying to apply for the aid. It is used for federal and state aid. If you're from Pennsylvania, you might be applying for the FEA grant, which is in addition to your FAFSA. The FAFSA is something that you have to apply for every academic year. So if you're a high school senior applying for the FAFSA this year, you also have to remember once you're a freshman next year to make sure that you fill out the FAFSA again if you want to continue to get that federal aid. You can list up to 10 colleges on your FAFSA. LaRoche, we hope that you add us. Our school code is 003987. And once we have received your FAFSA, we can make sure that we package you for a financial aid package. And you can apply for the FAFSA online at studentaid.gov. So you don't have to worry about filling out a paper application, mailing it in. You can do everything electronically.
So when should you file your FAFSA? If you are a senior, you can actually file it now. You have to file the FAFSA every academic year that you are interested in attending college. So you'll have to apply every year, and every year it becomes available on October 1st. For Pennsylvania, we do have a state grant deadline of May 1st. All that means is that the sooner you fill it out, the more likely you could be to have additional aid available to you. So we always recommend that you apply as soon as possible. If you have your information and you're able to do it, I would really recommend you do it now. But deadlines will vary with different schools, the same way that different schools have varying deadlines for applications and submitting your deposit and different things like that. Something that we recommend is that you don't wait for your acceptance to apply for the FAFSA, because then it'll just help us streamline the process. So if you have applied to LaRoche, but you are still awaiting your admissions decision, since the FAFSA is available, we would strongly recommend you go ahead and take care of it now.
So whenever you're thinking about which school to attend and you're looking at the cost of attendance, a lot of times families will only look at those direct costs, which typically are the sticker prices that colleges will put out there for tuition, fees, and room and board. But there are a lot of other costs that go into going to school. So in order to kind of understand the total cost of attendance, you also have to consider the indirect costs. So costs for books, transportation if you're commuting to and from campus, personal expenses, living expenses, and then if you need it, childcare and special equipment purchases. So you have to put that all together in order to get the total cost of attendance for each school that you're looking at.
The expected family contribution determines your eligibility for financial aid. This rarely is actually the amount that the family pays to go towards the student's college education, but it is a federal formula that is processed from the FAFSA, and it's based upon income, both taxable and non-taxable, of the student and the parents, taxes paid, assets, different household sizes, and the number in college. So we've had families in the past that didn't necessarily qualify for a whole lot of aid with only one student in college, but their younger sibling was going to be adding to college that year. And so they were going to have two in college. And that was actually able to increase the aid that those families were available to get. So we'd strongly recommend that no matter what, it doesn't take anything to apply. So just go for it and just see what kind of aid is available for you.
So where can you find scholarships? There are so many places to find scholarships. We're just going to give you a few recommendations. But the first is to use university resources. So reach out to the admissions offices at the schools you're applying to. Like I said, I'm an admissions counselor, so is Erin. If you have been in touch with your admissions counselor, ask them what kind of scholarships they might have available, or maybe what kind of outside scholarships they recommend you apply for. Same goes for the Office of Advancement at the universities you're applying to. And then, of course, use your high school guidance counselor. They know a lot about what kind of scholarships might be available for students in your community specifically, maybe for students specifically that go to your high school. So make sure you ask them. You never know what they might know and can help you with. Also, check out what's in your local community. Look for community organizations, your local library, cultural groups, churches. A lot of these places offer scholarships, so it's worth checking into to see if they do. You can also look at your parents' employer. Sometimes your parents' employer might offer scholarship for their dependents, so just another little suggestion there. And then go online. We always recommend checking out some scholarship websites. These are just 4 that we recommend. There are a lot out there. One thing that we say is don't apply for a scholarship online if they're asking you to pay for it. No scholarship website that is legit will make you pay for applying to scholarships. So keep that locked in the back of your mind as well. FastWeb's probably the most popular one that we recommend. I always recommend as well to make a Google Doc of all the scholarships that you're applying for, because some have specific eligibility requirements, deadlines, those sorts of things. And it's just easier to keep track of if you have a Google Doc that you can kind of move everything around and keep everything organized that way.
Some scholarship tips that we like to recommend is to do some research the fall of when you're applying to school, and only apply if you qualify. So one of the reasons that we like FastWeb so much is because you actually get to create an entire profile for yourself, and you get emails about scholarships that you apply for based on the information that you provided to the website. So if you are a Pittsburgh native who is interested in studying history and wants to stay in the city of Pittsburgh to go to college, you won't be getting emails about scholarships for science research. And you always want to make sure that the application is complete. So double check that your essays have been attached, double check that you have checked all the boxes. Some scholarships ask that you do an e-signature when you apply. Make sure that you keep it neat. So don't give them more than they ask for. Include all required documents. We also like to mention that you can reuse a lot of the essays that you'll write for different scholarships. So going back to what Tori said about the Google Doc, you can add other Google Docs to a whole folder of just different essays from different prompts that you'll be able to tweak and add again to multiple scholarships. And again, deadlines are the most important part of the entire college search process. So you'll hear us say that multiple times, but again, different scholarships will have different requirements and different deadlines, so make sure you're keeping an eye on those as well.
So some things to remember while you're applying for any type of financial aid: keep copies of everything, just to keep yourself organized and so you can look back on it if you ever need to. Sign everything. Read all correspondence carefully. So if you get a financial aid package, don't just look at the numbers on it and see, oh, well, this is how much money I'm getting. Make sure that you're reading everything that comes with it, because sometimes there's some extra steps in there that you might not know about if you don't read it carefully. Ask questions and ask for help. Like I've said, me and Erin, we're here for you. Your admissions counselors are here for you. The financial aid offices are here for you. And of course, your high school guidance counselor is there for you as well. So if you have questions, ask them. Nobody's going to be annoyed or overwhelmed by your questions. We really welcome them. Notify the financial aid offices if your financial situation changes. So with everything happening in our world right now, with COVID-19, we know that there have been a lot of layoffs, maybe some early retirements. That's okay. We know that financial situations change. We just have to know in order to make sure that your financial aid package reflects those changes. If you don't tell us, we won't know, and unfortunately won't be able to make those changes. So if your financial aid situation changes, make sure you let us know. And again, like Erin said, remember those deadlines and apply early if you can.
We are on social media, so feel free to follow us to stay up to date with all of our events and just different things that we have on campus. In the past, we've had some FAFSA webinars and different workshops that we'll do. So if we did have any of those virtually this year, that'll all be listed on our socials. And feel free to contact us. All of our phone numbers are there. We typically recommend for any questions that you first reach out to your admissions counselor, just because we will have a little bit more insight into your situation. And then from there, we will direct you to financial aid as needed. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this presentation. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to help you throughout this process. And good luck, everybody.
Thank you.